Welcome to another super exciting edition of Inside Media Weekly. I'm Ryan Boni, and we have a full panel today. We have the Kevin side, Kevin Bastos.
Run!
Kevin Redford is here as well.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks.
The Justin Pinto side. I got the Justin side.
Over here.
No other
All the
Justin.
Justins are on this side.
Just one Justin. And let's see what's going on with the Otters.
I got a blank screen over here.
Very
You're
little.
blank?
Yes. It's awesome.
I mean,
we
I
were
think
watching it before you arrived.
They were
You
there.
were telling us names and...
Yeah, we found out all about the Otters. Maybe it'll come back.
Yay!
Where are these
Otter
otters at?
habitat.
This is the Monterey Bay Aquarium in Monterey
Bay.
California.
It's just-
Not a whole lot going on.
What's the wind chill in Monterey Bay?
Actually, we just looked up. It's 61 degrees.
Did you
in
hear
Monterey?
that all the schools in Monterey Bay, 2 hours away?
Except for one.
No,
Oh, they all had 2 hour delay.
all of them. Well, there was one that canceled, and
felt like
all the
47
community
this
there is
morning.
irate, and there was one that had no delay, and all the community there is irate. Just saying.
So it's 61, but the wind chill is
42.
4 below. Yeah.
it feels like
It's still cold outside
Super,
right now.
super cold. All right. Let's just go to why we're here.
Yes.
There's this
There
movie
was a
that
lot of
came
things
out.
in the rundown.
Well, I did. I added a few
did not
things
look.
just in
I
case.
didn't get the rundown.
I know.
I knew there was otters.
We can get to Star Wars franchise overtakes Harry Potter as the second biggest franchise. You know,
What's bigger?
James Bond?
Or is it? I didn't even look actually. Or is it Lord of the Rings? What's
I can't imagine Lord of the Rings being.
There's not that many
Only
movies.
Well, if you count the
6
Hobbits.
films?
Yeah, maybe.
Would you count the extended?
I did biggest
Hobbiting
franchise.
I would
universe?
say Fast and the Furious, maybe. Might be the biggest
that's
franchise,
gonna
guys.
be well the biggest, but not necessarily the highest growth.
I mean,
Wow.
it's definitely. I mean, each of these movies have make billions of dollars.
Are we including all?
oh wait,
what is
see,
it?
this has Marvel in there as number one. That
Oh,
doesn't
relax
count.
your little bodies. That's insane.
All right,
Okay, so maybe it's the biggest.
it could be. Who knows?
But it's not the biggest movie at the box office this week.
Ferdinand,
It got
right?
dropped.
We have Wreck-It Ralph, or I'm sorry, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Wreck-It Ralph 2, of course, is coming this year.
Yes.
Very important. As 2018 hits and Incredibles 2. And we can get to the top 5 superhero movie predictions for 2018. Cinema Blend predicted their 5. It doesn't look like it's a huge slate, so their 5 is probably not.
I think we put this all
Surprising.
on the back burner.
But let's talk
Something
about
else
now that everybody at this table. Now, make sure everybody at this table has seen Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yes.
Hopefully, all the kids working right now have seen it.
If you've
Spoiler
not
alert.
seen it, this is going to be a
Spoiler about to be
spoiler-filled edition of Inside Media
Can you
Weekly.
put up alerts, spoiler alerts
Yes,
the entire time?
all the things. Now, I did go back and I rewatched everything. I'm sorry, all of the live-action feature length.
Okay.
So the
So
prequels,
I did not do, prequels, Rogue One, and the 3 original. I did not do Ewok Adventure or Caravan of Courage. I did not do
The droids.
the droids or Ewoks, a little animated thing. And
or
I
the
did
Christmas one. Though.
Christmas.
what about
I did not do
He
the
said
Clone
you didn't do the
Wars
animated
animated.
Clone Wars regular?
I know.
What about the film?
Well, yeah, I didn't do that either.
Okay.
So,
What do you mean? You're talking about the animated movie.
Right, the Hut one.
Zero the Hutt.
Zero. the Hut.
Zero the Hutt. That's the only character I remember from it. Is Zero the Hutt.
I remember it being terrible.
I know I saw it in the theater.
Perhaps
I don't know if I've
not
ever saw it
Christmas
since then.
special bad, but wow, still not one word about the new movie.
we're
No one wants to
5
correct
minutes
the
in.
ice on that, yeah.
So, a couple of things. Well, one, after seeing Rogue One, was that last year now
Yes.
already? It's been a year. I remember thinking, wow, the first hour is really, really slow, but the second hour is amazing. But then as I went back and watched all the Star Wars movies, I'm like, most of them have a pretty slow first hour. Other than, I think Revenge of the Sith is pretty fast throughout the entire.
I love the start of Jedi.
Yeah, and they all have
engaging.
good parts. Like obviously, Empire's got the Hoth battle, which is huge and stuff like that, and it's exciting. But then there's just a lot. It just kind of slows down the others.
Not a lot happening on Dagobah. Kind of a boring place.
Yeah, there seems to be some kind of altercation or some kind of battle in every single one that starts, except for Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
The slow moving. But yeah, Rogue One. Yeah, you're right. I agree with that.
It seems slow, but then but then, like I said, a couple quick things, quick notes. You guys tell me if I'm wrong. Phantom Menace is a better movie than I think a lot of people give it credit for.
I started to think it's better than Attack of the Clones.
I think it's significantly better than Attack of the Clones.
You're about the same age as I am, Justin. I mean, when the prequels came out, I remember thinking to myself, this was the highlight of my summer. I actually really, really enjoyed The Phantom Menace the first time I saw it, with the exception of the pod racing. If we could just take that out, I thought to myself, wow, young Obi-Wan Kenobi, this is fantastic. I really loved the prequels as they came out. Given the benefit of years later, I look back and say, wow, they're pretty terrible. But
I kind of thought Attack of the Clones was good the first time I watched it.
I did too.
And now there's like a whole lot of nothing going on. You want to talk about a movie that's like slow? There's just like
And bad effects.
and it's just like they could have taken that whole movie and did like 30 minutes and did something else instead of all that. Like
They could have done that for most of these movies. I mean, even this last one that came out, I'm jumping into the last one.
Oh, wow.
I know. Not much really happens. I mean, you're really trying to escape. That's the movie.
and yet I feel like you're right. It does like I mean it does go the span of at least 20 hours because we know they have 14 hours to go to the casino and come back.
It felt like the longest 14 hours in the movie I think I've ever experienced.
But
That
they had
was
some
a
like
long-
Game of Thrones time travel in there. It's like we need to get from here to here, and we only have horses. Thousands of miles were done in a day.
Right.
She want to join in on the show?
Can we get a call in? Can we
You're
get a
bringing
speakerphone?
everybody in today, aren't you?
Second look.
But yeah, like I felt like it definitely didn't go over that much time. They're just trying to escape. But I feel like they tried to cram too much into it. Like I felt like it was like jumping from here to here to here, and I thought it was like really fast paced in the sense of like, well, we got to go do this right now, and then we got to go do this right now, and then we're gonna do this, and then we got to go over here to this planet. And we got to go to the casino. You got 14 hours.
And then in the
That
end,
casino's
none of
getting
that mattered.
ripped, doesn't it?
It just
No.
Yeah, it felt like the longest period to do nothing. And I kept thinking to myself, are they still not at the halfway point, which would be getting to where they had to get get this Keymaster or whatever he was and bring him back? And I kept thinking to myself, are they still not there yet? This whole thing's going to end before they get to this casino that we end up going to, which is had I think was the worst part of the whole movie. Was the casino part. If I was going to argue against one part, if I could take out one actual specific moment, it would be that casino part. Even though that, I thought BB-8 was funny in that scene. That, if I could jump into it now, the problems I had with it were too many scenes were just broken up into, not broken up, but almost forced comedy in a movie that I didn't think needed too much comedy. No one was going in there thinking, all right, I'm gonna really yuck it up in there. But I felt like everyone in the theater was laughing the entire time. And I'm trying to enjoy. I'm telling my son to stop laughing. I'm like, please, I'm trying to watch this movie. Take the joy out of this. This is Star Wars. And I was really distracted by how many times they try to make a joke, even the beginning scene.
Well, I was going to talk about.
Go ahead.
With, and I think I've voiced my displeasure with Force Awakens on numerous occasions on this show and other places. But it was interesting going back and watching the whole thing, like I said, all kind of in a row. I still don't like A Force Awakens, but it felt like all the things they set up in Force Awakens, that were big conflicts, they just kind of ignored all of it to start this movie. And I would say, we're building Hux up as this kind of villain. It's going to be this big battle between Hux and Kylo Ren as to who's really controlling what's going on with the First Order. And the whole first scene is Poe Dameron just kind of making a comedic effect, making this whole joke about still holding. I just thought it was so out of character for Star Wars, which is fine for moments, but it kind of said that this entire movie is going to be totally different than a Star Wars movie is going to be. It's almost like somebody who just watched Guardians of the Galaxy right beforehand and said, oh, wait, we better go put some more jokes in it. But Guardians of the Galaxy did it well, as opposed to...
Well, I don't know if I'd go the entire way of that. In fact, some opposite. Like, I felt watching the movie, somebody went through all the other Star Wars films and was like, listen, something didn't work, something's not going right, so let's go through every movie and let's bring in everything that was cool from every other movie and we're putting it in this one. Like, going through Empire being like, okay, AT-ATs, they're really cool, bring those in here. And what else we got? Those stormtroopers with the cool things on the bottom, put those in the end. That'd be amazing. Yoda, bring him in here. And then somebody's like, Boba Fett, and we're like, oh... No, Django's in the... Okay, don't put that. But everything else, we're good. Okay, Return of the Jedi. What's in there that's good? I felt like it was such a pulling of everything that had been good in other ones. And some of it worked really well. and some of it didn't. Like, everyone I was with had a very positive experience in the movie, and I don't know if I'm very positive yet or not. I don't know. Like, I felt like it worked together as a whole. Mm-hmm. The story closed together nicely, and I guess I'm a fan of endings. I really like endings, and I thought it pulled that together nicely. But there were so many little off-kilter things. The chubby little thing in the casino really turned my head away. Mm-hmm. The I forget the cat things in the last scene, the tinkly little things. I thought that was...
The crystal critters.
Crystal critters, yes. And again, part of me
I figured
is jumping...
someone watched Chronicles of Narnia then right beforehand,
Well,
and it was like...
Another part was jumping back again to the original series. Like, I can remember Walrus Man being the figure from Star Wars when it came out, and then it was, no, you can't call him Walrus Man. He's now Ponda Baba, and that was this naming, and now we're back on the other side. Yeah, crystal critters, whatever. I mean, so it's this back and forth. I don't know where it's going to end up.
But even most of Star Wars doesn't ever name the people.
No.
Like, I just watched Rogue One like twice over break.
Mm-hmm.
And like, the only name you ever hear is like Baze. You know, you don't know he's Baze Malvis. Like, you have no idea. And if you're not really sure that his name is Baze, you don't even know that they're calling him by his name. Like, you know, it's like yelled in like the last battle. All of a sudden, you're like, is that his name? Like, they never name characters. They never, you know. And then you have to go to like the Trivial Pursuit game to get all the information about what is actually going on and Yoda's root leaf stew that he has and all this stuff. Like, all the details are just out there if you want them. But otherwise, it's just like, okay, oh yeah, that guy's cool. I like him. Well, that creature's cool. Great. I don't even know the name. They're just like.
But they did call them crystal critters, right?
I think they alluded to them and called them that because they didn't know what they were.
They could follow them through.
Yeah, I think they just kind of. I mean, when I saw that, I thought they were just like, okay, we just ended up on this planet. We have no idea where we are, and there's these animals we don't know what they are. Like, no one's ever been here that we know of, and there's this like glass covered like creature. What are we going to call it? Follow that thing. You know what I mean? Like, what else are they going to call it? They're not. I think it'd be more odd if they're like, quick, follow the pork. Like, if they knew what the name of the thing was automatically, I think that'd be more bizarre in some ways.
I don't know where I'm ending up yet.
I'm not sure either, because I when I went back, I watched Force Awakens again, and I watched Rogue One again. Force Awakens was better than I remembered liking it. Like as I'd gotten further away from Force, I felt like my enjoyment of it had kind of gotten less and less and less. Now, I saw Last Jedi, and then I watched Force Awakens. So I kind of watched it in the opposite order instead of watching this and going right into it. And some of it, like, I'd honestly, like, I knew it was picking up right where they left off. I knew that was going to happen. But some of it, I'm like, oh, yeah, Finn, that's right. He wasn't, like, at first I was like, why is Finn, you know, in this coma? Yeah, what's going on? Like, at first I totally forgot about it. And I'm like, that's
Struck
right.
down.
The whole thing.
I did the same thing you did. I rewatched Force just to see. And I feel like the problem I have with The Last Jedi more than anything is it almost, in the first couple of minutes, they nullified the entire Force Awakens. All of what happened there, with him throwing that lightsaber over his shoulder, which I hated that moment. A couple people said they liked it. I hated that. I thought that whole last 10 minutes where we're watching her fly into this island, climb these rocks, all these things, to know that it leads to a poorly constructed joke. I didn't like that. And just all the stuff that happened with Finn and Rey and Snoke and all these different things. I guess we can get into Snoke. He's a whole chapter. But I just felt like The Force Awakens becomes, while I agree, I liked it better this time. After seeing this, I felt like it was just thrown out the window when they put this one together. They said, all the stuff that you thought mattered, we fixed that in 2 sentences. And I didn't like that. I like that it builds up and it gets to a point where a big crescendo, but these were just like, I'm just going to throw the lightsaber away and let's go. I mean, the whole Luke on the island thing, if they could take that all out. I hated the maids walking around. I didn't like the milk. I didn't like any of that stuff. It was so unnecessary.
That was cool in episode 4. The blue milk. Let's bring back blue milk.
That's right. That's what I meant.
Let's change stuff.
That's what I meant.
Let's make it green.
Yeah, right. And it was so many little things where they, like I said, bring that in, and then those weird maid things that
When my 9-year-old son laughs his head off at something, I wonder why it's in my movie. That's how I felt. Like he could not
for
stop
him
laughing.
too. It's for the 9-year-olds also. That's the part of the problem.
No,
it's like,
I'm sorry. You Star Wars fans, we agree.
You
it's
get
not for
the
everybody.
electric razor. He gets the jokes.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah.
You can buy a Nissan.
Right.
You can get the Rogue Edition Nissan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember Batman Forever when he had the Bat card?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? I was waiting for that moment. where they were going to say something that just said, okay, this is all out the window. I just kept waiting for that moment where I was like, oh, I'm getting drive-through or something stupid. Where it was just, why did you just ruin the movie for no reason? That's how I felt about that. And I thought the Hux and Kylo it turned into more like a buddy comedy where they were like stepbrothers hitting each other off the wall. And I didn't like any of that.
It seems like we're really abusive to this. Let me go through and say a few positive things I liked. I really did like that turn between Rey and Kylo Ren there. I liked him getting rid of the helmet, throwing that all to the side, and I think that was an homage to sort of the hatred there. I loved Snoke's line, get rid of that ridiculous helmet, and I loved him slamming it into the wall there and sort of ripping that away. And I loved that battle back and forth between the two of them, even knowing where it was going to go there, but then getting to that point and thinking, okay, wait a minute, are we done now? Are we going a different way? And not knowing what would happen at that point. I liked that. I really did. And I loved the very subtlety of the red, white sand at the end. I thought that was a beautiful way to say, you missed it. We threw this out 6 times, and you missed it happening every single time until you see that extreme close-up there of the slide, and then that realization, remembering he does look like, I can remember him coming out and thinking,
he looks way younger.
Right. Oh, he cleaned up. Yeah, I got a shower. What?
I thought he dyed his hair. Like, he dyed his.
Yeah.
I thought,
you know, that was my.
I'm like, he dyed his hair.
Yeah,
right.
It's an interesting way to go into battle. I'm gonna dye my hair.
Right. Thank goodness he got rid of that stupid mullet. God, that was terrible. And I'm gonna get a haircut before going out to see this. And then, that turn and making that realization and thinking, okay, that was well done. Like, there were some parts of it that I thought were so good. How about you guys on that section there? And I want to steal everything I'm throwing.
No, I love the opening battle. I thought that was with the bombers drop. I thought that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really well done. I didn't like the joking around with Poe and Hux, but other than that, I thought that opening battle was very good. It brought me in.
I forget if someone told me they read this or I read it. I mean, it all starts to run together. But somebody had said like this movie was so heavy in the Force being different and like so heavy and like. They tried to really balance out like the seriousness with all the jokes. Like they tried, like they almost ended up with 2 different movies at times because it's like, well, we can't make it this dark and this heavy because that's not what people want. So we need to lighten it up at times so people don't leave going, wow, that was a lot of stuff in there that was not real happy. So they threw in all these extra jokes and did extra stuff on purpose. Yeah, because like when I don't want to divide it into 2 movies. Like there's a serious movie and there's the joking movie, but when it's serious and when they're going advancing the plot and doing stuff, I mean. I thought it was like watching Empire Strikes Back for a lot of it. They just put like Hoth at the end and
Right.
Yes.
you know, and like with the whole like they're on the island, Dagobah, there's a hole, there's a pit, we're in this you know what I mean? Like there was a lot of connections again, which I think they're kind
turned
of
out just to be a set of mirrors.
yeah, which they're going with the different things. Like I think they're trying to, like you said, pay tribute and do things to make it classic and stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't say like I've talked to some people who say that like they didn't like it at all. They thought it was terrible. I mean, I've talked to many people who said that they didn't like it. They rated it last out of all the Star Wars movies, behind the prequel even. Some people told me. I think I liked it more. I mean, part of it is it's Act 2 of 3 acts. So where are we going to go? Like, is JJ going to bring back all his stuff, and then we're going to toss out Rian Johnson, and then where does it end up?
And Ryan's gonna have his own trilogy. He's
Yeah,
gonna
we need. I mean, we
need.
we need ultimate closure to see where we feel about 7, 8, and 9 together because. Something in 9 might make you appreciate all the stuff that happened in 8, where right now you might not appreciate it at all. So.
Well, I certainly felt like that this movie, if you did not like Star Wars, this was a great movie for you. I felt like if you have no attachment to anything, and the problem I'm having is, and the further I'm getting from watching the movie, the more kind of angry I get at the movie because as a Star Wars fan, and I get there's little subtleties. Yeah, you know, they basically said, all the stuff we cared about as being Jedi, that didn't really matter. Even though Rey stole all the books out of the tree for her.
Well, Yoda alludes to that.
You know, and it's like, and Yoda's appearance. There were just so many things.
Did you like having Yoda back or no?
It was unnecessary, I thought, and that's my whole thing.
I didn't. I liked it.
You liked it? Okay.
It didn't bother me.
No,
I'm not sure. Like,
and it was
his chapter was over. I thought. I don't know why he came back just for that.
I like that he was outside of everyone except Luke, just there.
Yeah.
And I did like the fact that he brought back the puppet and giving a little bit to Frank Oz. I mean, I thought some of his lines were wonderfully poetic. I thought to myself, I got to post that one in my room. There were 2 that I thought need to go up, and I think he had maybe 5 lines in the whole film.
I don't know. I'm starting to feel this way. Like I think I said about the first Star Trek movie, the reboot of the thing, where when you first heard, oh, Leonard Nimoy's going to be in this, you're like, oh, this is great. And then afterwards, I'm like, I really didn't need to have it. And I feel like you could have done Star Wars, and I hate to say this, but you could have done it now without Han, Leia, and Luke, and Chewie, and Yoda, and like all these characters. I think they could have got just as great of a story out of it than trying to drag it down based on the old stuff. And now we're trying to break free, and now we're going to kill off a main character in each movie. Although I
Didn't pick the right one.
well, and
That's such a dark thing to say, but
there were just things like, come on, the Leia, the whole Leia death, flying back in thing, it just
Did you
brought
think
the
that
movie
was it?
to the.
When you were watching it, you
I
assumed that
figured.
was it.
Well,
Right?
yeah.
what?
At no
thought
point
so.
did you think she was coming right back.
I thought
The
so.
game was starting to. I mean, and then that.
Yeah, but I mean, my buddy I was with. It happens, and he goes, "Did that just happen?" And she's out. And I'm like, "Yeah, that did just happen." And then, like 30 seconds later, I'm like, "And this is also happening right now." Okay, did not see that coming.
You're really going to keep spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
As we're
spoiler
talking, I'm realizing it's just.
I mean,
But no, I kind of liked that they didn't. After that point, if they had killed her off after that, I would have been very bothered by it because you had your opportunity. Not that I thought she carried the rest of the movie or she was extremely important, but I feel like either you have that moment or you have her die peacefully and they just say in memory of her. Because it's almost like in honor of Carrie Fisher they did that, where they said, we're not going to have her die on screen. Carrie Fisher doesn't die in the world and then die on screen. That's how I think that they saw it.
I think I agree.
And she did the work. So they're saying, well, we can't get rid of her work.
I think they could have found out some other way to make that happen without going down that avenue.
I
But
mean, ask the question now: is anyone left? Chewbacca, right?
Akbar's
C-3PO.
gone. I didn't know Akbar was going to die.
I know
Yeah,
that was
that was-
almost
Big
a
spoiler
giveaway.
alert.
And,
Admiral
no,
Akbar.
that poor guy, like no credit. No, they kind of mentioned in passing.
Yep, and it was also.
Here's
You
the-
know who was
Just
there?
so you have the wonder, he's gone.
But
Did you see Lando out there too? Oh no, he's gone.
He's not. We killed Lando between the movies. We just didn't tell you. Why? Why no Lando?
that's I think
I've heard he's not doing well.
No,
And he
no,
doesn't-
I'm saying, why don't
Oh,
they
okay.
mention him? I understand
good call.
Billy D.
Listen.
Williams. I'm saying, why not?
That's what I'd be on the phone. Listen, Billy, right now,
Look at what we're putting
please
Anybody.
come in.
need your help. Well, but that's what I almost feel like with the Carrie Fisher thing is that and this is probably one of my biggest bothers of the whole casino thing, of the whole. It's like Star Wars has never been about trying to misdirect. We even joked about it in the last episode about Emperor Palpatine. I mean, there's no.
It can't. It's going to be more.
I don't.
It's going to be more. Nope. It's
I'm not a big fan of when the movie is trying to misdirect the audience as opposed to misdirect the characters. I'm fine with you want to misdirect the characters and something, whatever. But I felt like that moment was probably added in because we knew Carrie Fisher was gone and that
Right.
something. And I felt like the whole casino thing, the whole what's Laura Dern's character's name?
I forget her name.
Purple.
purple hair lady.
This whole thing that she could have just come out and say, I'm going to do like to lead the audience to believe that they're fighting and that they're against each other in Poe, and then suddenly she's just going to do what she could have just done anyway, which is somehow magically jump through hyperspace and destroy a ship, which we should have been doing all along. I don't know
Why
why.
have we not been doing that all? That's fantastic. That's my favorite.
We have
part.
limited
was cool.
resources on the.
But what was the purpose of all that? I mean, what was her? Was she good or bad? And to this second, I'm actually wondering that because maybe that just at that point I was tired. Laura Dern was a good character or a bad character for the other than martyrdom. Was she good or bad for the Resistance? I mean, well, that's where I can't. Okay, we still don't know. That was one of the great mysteries that will simply never be answered, such as Snoke, if we have time.
Well, and
It's not my show.
my complaint of also Force Awakens was that I felt, and I've mentioned this before about J.J. Abrams, I feel like he's so hero-centric that he never spends any time on villains, and Lucas was so villain-centric that his heroes actually were kind of more cardboardy. And
Nobody had great villains to work with, and I don't think there is one.
well, but you had Hux, who was interesting. made him into a joke character. You killed Snoke off, which was a cool, inventive way to do it, but was just undermined his character so much.
Loved it.
You're telling me that this guy...
Well, but remember, think about, like, I had that question, but think about the Emperor. He was like all powerful,
Right.
couldn't be, but he got so sidetracked, and his arrogance maybe was the issue.
Same.
He didn't ever sense Darth Vader turning. So Snoke was all pumping himself up, talking about how great he was in that scene, and meanwhile the whole time, this whole betrayal is starting to happen, and is it his arrogance at that time? Is it clouding his senses,
But
so to
Snoke
speak?
could take two people and have them telepathically talk to each other.
Yeah, but
he's
but
got
I mean,
powers that's...
I just don't think he ever expected that to happen.
Was that an impulse for Kylo Ren, or was he planning that the whole time?
Yeah, again, going into the last episode, I'm sure we'll feel more for that. Yeah. But
I read
it
an
is
article
unclear.
that said Snoke was the Prime Jedi. Like Luke might have been the Last Jedi,
he
and
was
which
the
we had all this
first.
debate of who's the Last Jedi. Is it Rey? Is it Luke? But when you watch Force Awakens in the crawl, it says Luke Skywalker, the Last Jedi.
Right.
I'm like, why did I
There we
pick up
go.
on this whole time? Why didn't I watch this sooner? But they said there's like a painting in the Jedi Temple that they go into.
Oh, yeah, and
There's like a
yeah.
guy who looks like Snoke. Like it's like called like the Prime Jedi. So like was Snoke really the first Jedi, and he's just now 8,000 years old or whatever.
Are these people that watch the movie like 2-3 times? Or
I don't
they
know how you
literally
catch that.
they
Like, I
take it
couldn't even
second
find-
by second, and then they can just break it down because that's what's necessary in this. Unless they're being leaked by the production company.
I would expect.
I would think Disney saying, "Did you know this?" No.
See that guy
How
with
come
the big head in the
someone
temple?
noticed that? Yeah.
I want to go back and watch for it because I still haven't found a good picture.
And then, this is the major spoiler, of course, Rey's parents comes out.
Wow.
And we know it could be
It's
a
all-
misdirect.
Yeah.
Again, audience misdirect, which I'm not, and I guess it's
I don't think it's an
misdirect to her.
audience misdirect. I think
It's
that's
to her.
Kylo trying to get Rey to join him
But if
misdirect.
that truly is the case, and now we're saying that anybody can be a Jedi, anybody can be,
Even a stable boy could be a Jedi at this point.
then that to me is
I know there was a whole because they found Anakin at the beginning of the Phantom Menace, and he was just not a stable boy, but
Right.
just the junkyard guy.
I think it was an hour into Phantom Menace.
You know what I mean?
by the way.
So I think there has been this illusion that okay, maybe the Force runs strong in some families and whatnot and so on, but did we do a midichlorian count? Do we know what the stable workers were?
still have
and so
a
on?
I'm so
midichlorian
glad
count
they've
and
gotten
counters.
rid of that thing.
But you know what I mean? I think they kind of made it like anybody could be a Jedi and have the Force to some degree.
I know,
and I was looking for those people.
I
out
see
there.
it as a story thing. They want to be able to say, now you're never going to know who the next Jedi is going to be. Anybody can be, as opposed to people who are.
Well, I think this next movie is going to start with the passage of time.
Yeah.
It's not going to pick
Speaking
right
of
up there.
passage of time, we are out of time on this edition of Inside Media Weekly. We may have to pick this up next. We have a show next week? We'll see.
We're not canceled.
Tune in, if we don't get pulled off the air for too much Star Wars talk. That's all the time we have for on this edition of Inside Media Weekly. Thanks for joining us.